Next on the docket, of all the guys to fall in love with, you have got to be kidding me. A warrant was issued for Vicky White. She's the Assistant Director of Corrections at the Lauderdale County Correctional Facility on charges of permitting or facilitating escape in the first degree. Now, Vicky White was last seen Friday when she said that she was taking inmate Casey White for a mental health evaluation at the county courthouse. No evaluation or hearing was in fact scheduled for the inmate on that particular day, the authorities later discovered. Now, video shows the patrol car Vicky White and inmate Casey White took from the jail Friday morning. According to the timestamp on the video, it shows the patrol car just 8 minutes after it left the jail. Now, according to police, what that tells us is that the patrol car left the detention center and went straight to the parking lot where it was abandoned and later found by police. There was not enough time for them to even attempt to try and come to the courthouse, according to the police. It now looks like Vicky White acted of her own free will. Initially, there was a possibility that maybe she was in fact kidnapped, somehow overpowered, but that doesn't appear to be the case as it was coming around today. But they have to consider all options, well, until there isn't another option. Needless to say, Miss White's coworkers are devastated because she was considered to be a model employee. And I hate to say this, but what have I said? That's right, the 12 undeniable truths from a criminal defense attorney. Just about everybody has a double life. It appears as though Miss White did for sure. Now, Miss White is a widow with no children, and her mother and two brothers live in Lauderdale County, and her mother can simply only say that she is in a deep state of shock. The sheriff said that after 2 decades with the department, Vicky White submitted her retirement paperwork last week, and Friday was supposed to be her last day. Last day indeed it was. Now, who is this catch that Mr. White was willing to give it all up for? This guy, Casey White, serving 75 years for a series of crimes going back to 2015, including a home invasion, carjacking, and a police chase. He was also facing 2 counts of capital murder for the stabbing death of 58-year-old Connie Ridgway back in 2015. In 2020, Casey White confessed to the killing, but ultimately entered a plea of not guilty and was awaiting trial. He is 6 foot 9 inches tall, weighs somewhere around 250 pounds, and he is assumed to be armed and dangerous. And the United States Marshal Service is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to the location of Vicky White and the capture of Casey White. Now, in 2020, Mr. Casey White apparently planned to escape the jail and to take a hostage at the detention center, but unfortunately, the detention center employees foiled that plan. This is a crazy situation, and somehow I think it is going to end terribly for all involved. I just do not get it. A woman who's probably followed every rule her entire life gives it up for a guy who's serving a 75-year sentence and awaiting a jury trial for a murder case? Come on. She could do much better than that. The dating pool is a lot larger than your work area for sure. Lori Vallow is put on motions. In motions filed late Monday, prosecuting attorneys let Lori Vallow know that if she is convicted for any of the counts of first-degree murder and or any count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, that the state of Idaho will be seeking the death penalty as a sentencing option. Now, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow are charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder for the deaths of 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, 2 of Lori's kids, and Chad's first wife, Tammy Daybell. Now, the aggravating factors under the death penalty statute that warrant a death penalty that the prosecution cited were, 1, the alleged murders were committed for remuneration, for financial gain, the insurance policy. The alleged murders were especially heinous, atrocious, cruel, or manifesting exceptional depravity. One could certainly argue that. And the defendant exhibited an utter disregard for human life. One could certainly argue that as well. And the defendant has exhibited a propensity to commit murder and will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. I think all those arguments could certainly, in fact, be made. we'll see what ultimately happens. The prosecutors also asked Judge Boyce to move Lori Vallow's trial from October to January to coincide with Chad Daybell's trial. The cases are technically joined, but Lori Vallow did not waive her right to a speedy trial last month when she appeared for her arraignment, and she must legally be tried within 6 months of the arraignment. So unless the court finds for some way to extend the speedy trial right to January of 2023, or Lori Vallow agrees to waive speedy trial, or Chad Daybell decides to say he will be ready to go back in October of this year, then the cases will more than likely be separate. Now, prosecutors argue the reason why they want them together is simply that the witnesses and evidence in both trials are the same, and it will be more cost-effective to hold them together as proceedings are expected to last at least 10 weeks. Now, in my humble opinion, as I said the other day, the prosecutors should stop worrying about convenience and worry about winning their case, right? As I said yesterday, prosecutors should say, Judge, you tell me where, you tell me when, and we will have our witnesses and evidence ready to present to any 12 jurors, and we will prove our case beyond a reasonable doubt to each and every element of the offense charged, okay? The prosecutors charged 2 people with capital offenses. It's going to be expensive, it's going to be inconvenient, and it's going to be time-consuming. At the Court of Appeals, no one cares you are a small jurisdiction with limited resources. I'm not aware of any law that says you get a pass for those circumstances. Get it done. You got a break with Lori Vallow being sent to the state hospital for 10 months. Chad waived speedy trial. Your case should be ready to go.
Like many Americans, we got a dog during the pandemic. My quarantine dog, Miss Winnie the Bulldog. Now, Miss Winnie has grown accustomed to being around us all the time. When we were leaving the house, Winnie would have extreme anxiety, so we decided to look for natural products to help with her anxiety. We looked for the highest quality CBD treats, and we were not satisfied, and neither was Winnie. So we created a high-quality CBD product that absorbs faster and provides the required results faster. Baked in Colorado CBD treats and beverage enhancers are made with nanotechnology. The nanotechnology makes the CBD extraction more pure, also allows for Baked in Colorado products to work faster. Baked in Colorado products can help reduce your pet's anxiety, ease joint pain, and help with your dog's skin problems. Go to our online store and see what Baked in Colorado product is best for your dog. When you order at bakedincolorado.com, enter code WINNIE and receive 15% off your first order. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If your dog does not experience the desired results in 30 days, return the product and we will refund your money. No questions asked.
Check out this footage of now former officer Vicky White kind of creeping out the Lauderdale County Jail with the 6'9" Mr. Casey White, and who had not been released. Now, the 56-year-old female officer and widow held the door for the 38-year-old convicted criminal who was still in handcuffs. They then proceed to get into White's black police car at about 9:30 a.m. on Friday, April 29th, and drive off. On Friday, Vicky White told a booking officer she was escorting Mr. Casey to the county courthouse for a mental health evaluation. The move was against protocol for Casey, who was always meant to have at least 2 guards with him. No such evaluation was scheduled, as the authorities found out. Now, Vicky White had filed for retirement a day before her disappearance. She was also living with her mother after recently selling her home. Now, the two have been on the run for at least 5 days now. Mr. Casey's ex-girlfriend begs Vicky White to drop the killer and turn herself in. The woman, who's not been identified, but she was the victim who was shot in Mr. Casey's 2015 case, warned that Miss White is in fact absolutely disposable to Casey White. Meanwhile, police revealed other inmates had told them that Vicky and Casey White, who are not related, had a special relationship in the jail. Authorities now believe that the inmate and the officer had a romantic relationship, which extended into Vicky White's non-work hours. They traced the relationship back to early as 2020 when Casey White, who was already serving time in state prison, was first brought to the Lauderdale County Detention Center for an arraignment. Inmates at the detention facility told investigator Casey White was getting extra food on his trays and was getting privileges no one else got, and this was all coming from her. Now, the U.S. Marshal Service said they suspect that the pair are armed with at least one AR-15 and a shotgun and may have used a copper 2007 Ford Edge during the escape. Now, Casey's ex-girlfriend, who he blasted with a gun in 2015, but didn't kill her, says she feels like he's a master manipulator and that she is, in fact, disposable. Run as far away as you can and turn yourself in and contact somebody. Do the right thing. You'll lose your life or before somebody else does. Now, meanwhile, Vicky's mother-in-law, whose son passed away earlier this year, believes the guard may have been brainwashed by the criminal. All right. Now, we've seen this before, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, there is usually manipulation, no doubt. And I'm sure that is the case here, no doubt. It does not look like a case of duress at all. I kind of feel sorry for Miss White because I think she truly got manipulated big time by this guy. I mean, she could have ran an NCIC. She didn't even have to use CrimeTalk search, but if she had come to me, I would have said, run, stay away from this guy.
Well, this morning, just days before the second-year anniversary of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, Barry Morphew and his two daughters made an appearance on Good Morning America today to speak for the first time since the charges were dropped against him. You know, those pesky first-degree murder charges? That's right. Well, Mallory Morphew started off the interview by saying, "We've been silent for a long time, and we've decided that we finally want to break their silence." And Barry was sitting in between his two daughters during the interview, holding their hands, and makes the statements, "I just love the girls, and I love my wife, and I just want her to be found." Suzanne Morphew disappeared, as you know, literally 2 years ago on Mother's Day, which is coming up on Sunday, and has never been found. Now, Barry Morphew was arrested back in May of 2021 on murder charges. And then last month, prosecutors dropped the homicide charges, and the charges against Barry Morphew were dismissed without prejudice, which means the district attorney could refile them if they have some new information that would link Barry to the murders, as the DA suggests. The prosecutor said that they are close to finding Suzanne Morphew's body and that they believe that they're going to examine her body and they're going to find evidence that would be incriminate or perhaps exculpate Barry. In the interview, Mallory also said, "We just know that our dad, we know him better than anyone else, and we know that he simply is not involved in their mother's disappearance." Daughter Macy Morphew added, "It's been such an emotional roller coaster, and it's just all been very traumatizing. The family hopes to begin their healing process and focus on finding Suzanne now that the charges have been dropped." Barry Morphew's attorney, Iris Itan, claims that the authorities have completely mishandled this case, and they are planning to file a complaint against the district attorney, Linda Stanley. Now, prosecutors need to be held responsible, and they need to pay for the damages they've caused to Barry Morphew, which is frankly nearly irreparable at this point, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is not who they claim he was, according to ITAN. Now, ITAN added, if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor their daughters, go find Suzanne. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The search for Suzanne continues. We'll keep a close eye as to where the search continues, both on the side of the prosecutors and the sheriff, as well as Barry Morphew and his daughters. As you may recall, it's been many, many decades now, but there are other people that went out to look for the real killer, for example, like O.J. Simpson, and he too has been unsuccessful. So we'll continue to see how those searches continue over the years.